I like Kirby. I mean, I can play a Kirby game literally all day. I can't get enough. So to quench my thirst for Kirby games, let's play some fun Kirby hacks and fan games. Like we always do. So I'm sure you all remember Sonic the Hedgehog, right? That game was awesome! Just running around back and forth as this blue creature at high speeds. But you know what this game could have used more of? Well, if you said Kirby, then you're some sort of psychic, aren't you? That's pretty awesome. Yeah, Kirby! I mean, why not? The name of this hack is Kirby and Sonic the Hedgehog, and well, first of all, brilliant title. And secondly, as the name suggests, this game is literally just Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on the Sega Genesis, but with Kirby. You see, what's really interesting here is that Kirby actually plays like Kirby. This means that he can puff up his body to fly around the map, suck up enemies to attack, and even suck up rings around him to collect. It's super useful. But since the overall level design and game mechanics are still built around Sonic, Kirby also runs insanely fast. This game manages to balance the styles of both Kirby and Sonic perfectly. Not a lot of crossover fan games can say that. Most of the time they end up feeling really one-sided. Like here. It's really obvious that this is just Mario, but with a different skin. Kirby and Sonic Adventure actually had a sequel. I think you can guess on what they called it. Again, the game follows the same formula as the first one, but this time, you get to have a little Waddle Dee follow you around. Nice! All of my dreams have come true. So yeah, give these games a go. This actually isn't the first time that Kirby has invaded another game series. So here we are, hanging out in Dreamland, having fun. Nothing too out of the ordinary yet. But then all of a sudden, boom! We're in the Quickman stage from Mega Man 2! Why? I mean, that's awesome, but why? I don't know, but apparently the inhabitants of Dreamland took over all of the robots from Mega Man because every enemy you encounter is one from Kirby. There's not much else I can say here though because I'm kinda stuck on this level. It is the Quickman stage after all, and with how skilled I am at video games, we might be here for a while. But in the meantime, we have Mega Man vs. Kirby, kind of a role reversal, where Mega Man is exploring Dreamland. I'm not really gonna talk about this game though, because it's more of a Mega Man hack than it is Kirby. All I can say is that it's really fun and strangely addicting. But back to the Quickman stage. It's not happening. Man, Mario 64 was great. But you know what it needed, said no one ever, except that one guy who made this hack of Mario 64 with Kirby? It needed... Oh, wait a minute, Super Mario 64 Kirby Edition! Man, Kirby sure likes stealing the spotlight, but we're gonna allow it because he's just so gosh dang adorable. Again, there's not much to really talk about here. Kirby is just kind of another reskin of Mario. Running, jumping, punching, ground pounding, it should all feel very familiar. A nice feature though is that they removed all of Mario's sound bites and voice clips and replaced them with Kirby's. Now let's check out some really impressive fan games that I feel deserve a little more attention. Now here's a very beautiful fan game that unfortunately never got fully completed, but there is a playable demo out there, Kirby Cosmic Chaos. The game follows the traditional side-scrolling Kirby formula, but with a 2.5D perspective, very similar to Kirby and the Crystal Shards on the N64. The graphics of this game even kind of resembling Kirby and the Crystal Shards, showing that the creators went that extra mile to make something unique and amazing. A really cool feature that I love about this game is its multiplayer. You and 2 other friends can play the game together. The first player takes control of regular pink Kirby, while the other players take control of either different colored Kirbys, or one of the many different enemies throughout the Kirby universe with their pre-selected ability. Nintendo themselves actually had plans of releasing a game very similar to this one on the GameCube back in the day. There was a quick little tech demo that was shown at E3, a 4-player side-scrolling Kirby game with 1 Kirby and 3 enemies by his side. The game showed promise and looked like it had a lot of potential, but for one reason or another, it was scrapped, and eventually became Kirby's Return to Dreamland on the Wii. It's also a shame that Kirby's Cosmic Chaos never got finished either. It's like a curse or something. Gah, it's so unfair. But luckily there's still the demo, to at least get a little taste of what could have been. Waffle Pop Quiz.
Question. Have you ever met a knight?
Met a knight? I don't think so. I've been to a few Renaissance fairs and have seen people dressing up as knights, but I don't think...
I wonder how long it'll take for him to realize. This will be on the test.
Being a knight would have been so awesome. You remember those games that you would play in the very early days of the internet? For me, it was games like Line Rider, which I would kind of always play in my computer class when I was 14, Defend Your Castle, and a never-ending onslaught of stick figure games, a lot of which I would play in school. I was a bad student. But I remember there was one game in particular that caught my eye when I was 15 and hanging out in the school library for some reason. Kirby Invaders of the Dark. It's a really straightforward fan game, side-scrolling, experimenting with powers, and eliminating all the cute characters. The story is your typical Kirby shenanigans. Kirby's just hanging out, minding his own business, and then all of a sudden, evil. This was a great game to play during school. Whenever it was lunchtime, I would rush to any available computer and boot up the game. It isn't super in-depth or anything, which made it perfect for those pick-up-and-go occasions. Revisiting the game now, it definitely has that old-school Flash game feeling. You know? And that's just how I like it. You know what else I like? RPGs. And luckily for me and other RPG lovers, there's a fan game that's currently being worked on by someone who goes by the username Vibrant Echoes on YouTube, called Kirby Rpg. The game is currently still in development, but it holds a ton of promise and looks like it could be a really great game. I mean, just seeing Kirby and friends stand in this RPG battle screen and do RPG-like attacks just fills my heart with so much joy. Head over there and give your support to the game. We can't have any more canceled Kirby games. I'm not emotionally ready. There was also a fun little fan animation, I guess, of a full-fledged Kirby RPG called Kirby Frontier. Again, it's not a game, but still worth checking out. If anything, it just makes me yearn even more for a Kirby RPG. And the final game to wrap this all up? Kirby the Dream Battle. The game starts up and immediately we see Kirby getting trampled by all the cute denizens of Dreamland. Great! Kirby the Dream Battle is a 2D fighting game starring Kirby characters. And Mega Man, for some reason. The game is really fun. You have a wide selection of Kirby characters at your disposal. Like, no joke, look at this roster. Almost every single main character, villain, and even enemy is unlockable. The gameplay itself is pretty standard. You have one button for attacking, pressing it multiple times will allow you to string combos together, and executing special moves requires you to input a certain combination of buttons to do so. It's a pretty basic and standard fighting game, very reminiscent of old school Super Nintendo fighting games. Kirby the Dream Battle is actually just a mod of the Mugen engine, which I absolutely love Mugen. There's so much that you can do. Mugen is basically a create-your-own fighting game program. I might even have to make an entire video just talking about it. There's so much free range. Hey, is that Lloyd? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I absolutely adore fan games that are done in a pixel art style. It all just takes me back to the 90s. The 90s. You know what? I think I'm just gonna quit YouTube and join a 90s boy band. You know what? I immediately regret every decision.